Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this episode we're going to be looking at my old explores, and this one in particular I'm quite excited about. It is probably one of the favourite places I've explored in Adelaide, maybe even explored full stop. It's definitely up there at the top. Yeah, so these ones here I actually shot into two parts. So well, I split the video into two parts. It was actually two separate explores, funny enough. I went there twice in the same day. So first one we'll be looking at is, so the title of the video is Historic Boarding House with a Dark Past. And yeah, we'll start off with the first video here. So basically, in the first part of this video, we explore everything above ground, if that makes sense. So the building itself is 2 stories high. I don't know how many rooms. There's a lot of rooms in it. I think on the bottom story on the bottom ground floor used to be shops and businesses, and then upstairs was were rooms where people stayed. Yeah, and then afterwards in the second part we actually explore the basement, or basements I should say.
Today we're exploring a huge heritage listed building that operated as a boarding.
So I actually did some voiceover originally when I did this video.
Now this place does have a very
Tried to provide a bit of information.
The building itself is around 140 years old, and from what I can tell has always been used as accommodation. Following a mass eviction due to health concerns, the building has been undergoing renovations. However, process seems slow on this, and I believe this is due to the financial struggles with the owner.
Yeah, so most of that information is correct, at least as far as I know. Building did shut down due to health concerns, actually due to a cockroach infestation, and that was in 2017, I believe. September of 2017 is when they actually evicted everyone, because there were people staying here. It was used as a boarding house accommodation, and they evicted everybody. And when I explored this place, this was in January of 2019. Yeah, I'm going to say there was no one living here. There was actually somebody living here, and I didn't realise it at the time. The owner of the building actually still lives here in one of the rooms. But yeah, when I explored here, I was under the impression this place was totally abandoned. But it's not. It's actually, it is actually occupied. And yeah, I don't know whether the owner has made any progress into doing this place up. I haven't been past it in a while. But yeah, it's not abandoned anymore. So where we came in was at the back of the building there, and then come into the lobby. Yeah, that staircases are really awesome. Now all these rooms downstairs, these were all bedrooms at one point in time, except that toilet there at the end. There's a bit of furniture left in some of them. This was probably one of the more nicer rooms, but it had been, a lot of stuff's been stripped out, and I assume going to be renovated. But I would imagine, like, when people were living here, that room probably looked pretty much as it did. It wasn't the greatest place to stay in, but it did provide accommodation for people that needed it, which was important. old stove there. Yeah, so we're just looking around these in these rooms. Old kitchen and stove. Again, signs that some renovation has been attempted. Just an empty room. Strange seeing these shelves in here. So obviously, back at some point in time, this room wasn't a bedroom, it was used for something else, but well, it does have a number up here, but number 24. So maybe this was a bedroom at one point. Oh, I would say this building's been repurposed. So yeah, the history in this place is
one dark aspect of this building.
It's rather interesting. I'll go into it here.
Somebody was killed here around 10 years ago. A man had been wanted by the police. When they eventually tracked him here, he took his own life by a gunshot wound to the head.
Yeah, so just to elaborate on that a little bit, from the story I read, the police tried to pull a car over, car refused to pull over, and the driver sped off, and there was a bit of a high-speed chase, and eventually wound up here at this location, and the guy pulled a gun on the police and then sort of got inside here, and yeah, there was a bit of a standoff, bit of a siege at this location for a little while, and then yeah, gunman, the guy there committed suicide, shot himself, which was unfortunate. The story doesn't go into much details in that, other than the person didn't have a criminal record and sort of no history of mental health. So yeah, it's a bit strange, you know, why all of a sudden he done that. But so yeah, so I'm trying to find some history on this place. There's not a lot out there. Built in the 1850s, I believe, and I think the original intent was for a school, for a boarding school, but I don't think that happened. I don't think that actually occurred here. And then it was a basic accommodation, was an inn, was a hostel, and there were businesses operating underneath on the bottom floor. But yeah, it's last basically the last use on this building was accommodation, was a boarding house. So individual bedrooms, which I believe people rented for about $200 a week, which seems very expensive, but yeah, $200 a week, and then there was shared bathroom and kitchen facilities. So that stained glass window, unfortunately, I heard that vandals actually broke in and smashed it, which is such a shame, because it was a beautiful piece of stained glass. There's also one at the other end of the hallway. So it looks like some of these rooms have just been used as storage. They've probably taken stuff out of the bedrooms, because there was a massive cockroach infestation here. Apparently, authorities said the worst they've ever seen. No cockroaches when I was here though. They were completely well and truly gone. So I would imagine this place would have had to be stripped out, you know, pretty thoroughly. And then now you can see there's some equipment here, some newer stuff. So obviously the plan is to was to do some renovations and make it more livable. Yeah, still working here, isn't it? But not sure whether any work had been done here recently when I was here. It didn't seem so. Didn't seem like it. Another room with just some more old furniture. Another staircase here. Very, very noisy place. Just these floorboards were just creaking so loud.
One other interesting fact about this building, in the basement, is the remains of something quite unique. One of Adelaide's earliest gentlemen's clubs.
Yeah, so the basement was definitely the coolest part of this place, and we'll get to that in the second video. But yeah, I was just taking my time, just walking through here, just looking in every room. Not sure, never know what you'll find. Most of the furniture in here, I can say, was fairly modern, so.
And more renovation.
Okay. Now we've made up to the other end. So this was the top floor, or the second floor, and yeah. So we walked from one staircase to the other. Funnily enough, you can't actually walk the entire length of the building on the ground floor. It's walled off, as you'll see shortly. So yeah, now coming down the stairs into these rooms. Very loud floors. Again, more bedrooms.
Jeez, this floor's noisy. Yeah.
Coming through into bathroom.
Toilet and shower block. Okay.
I like this part actually. These stairs, quite these little tiny tiles, quite cool.
Some cool old tiled steps.
It's one of the front doors there to the building. Leads out onto the street. So I think when I come in here, I actually thought I'd come full circle back downstairs. Yeah. Which I was completely wrong, because it didn't join back onto the to that first staircase at all. See, this wall here is walled off.
That's interesting. So this section is actually separated off from the other section.
I don't know what I assume the reason for that is maybe, like I said, there was businesses operating in here, so maybe they had their own sections. There was three doorways, 3 front doors,
Light fixture there. Type of chandelier.
and yeah, perhaps businesses could run, their own entrances
It's
and
like gold.
and that.
It's like gold painted there.
So walking upstairs again, walking back towards the first staircase, but we'll duck down this middle staircase. This is where the building gets even more confusing.
This isn't a bad place at all. It wasn't.
As you'll see.
Another place earlier and couldn't get in there, so I was actually driving on my way home and passed this.
Yeah. So that was this was just an accidental find. I didn't really know about this place.
I don't know where these stairs go.
But I'd been to another location, a nursing home actually, and had tried to get in there, but that had no success. And was driving home and then come across this place.
Guess we'll find out.
So yeah, this is that middle staircase I was talking about.
Oh.
So this is where it was a little strange, because right here, it's actually its own separate area. So and this floor is actually a middle floor, so it sits between the ground floor and the top floor. And I couldn't really make sense of how that actually works in the building layout. This door was locked as well, and I have a feeling that I'm not sure that might be where the owner was living.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah, very strange seeing that. Yeah, the way
Is that like
sort of that middle
between the two
middle
flights?
area is. So it does make sense because that means you wouldn't have enough space to fit under
This bit?
that room and not enough space for above it. So I don't know how that works.
It's not.
That door just goes back outside, out to the back area.
Goes to the outside.
And that one leads back out to the street.
Yeah, it's a very weird little layout. Alright, let's go back downstairs and make our way out.
Yeah, so I think we're making. Yeah, I think this is wrapping up on the first part of this video. So this was my first visit here. I think I came here in the morning, and I returned again later in the day. So I do have this is a silly thing, but I do have a look here. This door here is where I thought the basement. This is how you got into the basement. This is what I thought the entrance to get into the basement was, but I couldn't get down here. This door was jammed. There was something behind it. Stopping you from opening it. So I didn't force it too much. I didn't want to break anything. So that's when I left. But yeah, I was wrong on that. And we do definitely get down to the basement in the second part. So yeah, that's that building's quite cool. It is a heritage listed building, so it's not going to get knocked down anytime soon. But I really don't know the state of it at the moment, whether there's been any progress in getting people moving back in there and living, or whether it's still empty, like it is at the moment, or like it was when I visited there a bit over about a year and a half ago. So yeah, so that was the first bit, and like I said, I didn't get down into the basement. I was in contact with another explorer on that day as well, talking about places we've been, and I mentioned this one, and then she mentioned back that she'd been trying to get in there for a while and hadn't had any success. So yeah, after I left, she went and explored there and did the whole thing, and then found the way into the basement and messaged me back and said, yeah, you completely missed the door. This is how you get down into it. And so yeah, I think I'd been off and explored another location, and then I thought, all right, I've got to come back and check out this basement, because yeah, and I'm glad I did, because yeah, it was probably the best part of, well, it was definitely the best part of this building. So.
Previously on Abandoned with Mark.
So let's come in a bit.
It was a motel or an inn or a hostel.
I didn't explain this first bit actually. It did seem there was people squatting in there as well, which is not really any surprise.
And now, the conclusion.
Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna. So basement. There's actually two basements here.
In part two of this Explorer, I'm venturing into the basement.
Two basements. What I mean, there's it's one level underneath the building, but it's actually split into two parts. So
I ventured back here the same day.
this first basement seems a lot older, and I think probably hadn't been used for a long time.
Certainly shows the age of the building. Old stone basement or cellar.
Yeah, well, this was blocked off. I think that's up at the street level, those windows. But yeah, this is very old.
Some of the
Down
little
here.
bricks
and not much had probably been changed in a long time. So I'm not 100% sure what this side was used for. It could possibly have been some sort of restaurant. I know there was, the other side was definitely was a restaurant, it was a bar. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what they did in here.
That's an interesting.
That looked like a service desk.
It's like a
Just
service
here.
desk or something here.
I think if we go back there, I think there was a sink and some stuff there at the back. But yeah, not 100% sure what business was run here.
It's definitely an old cupboard. What have we got back here?
Given the age of this building, I found some rumours that perhaps it's actually linked into some of the tunnels that run under Adelaide. Adelaide is known to have
Not exactly.
have drains and tunnels run under, not just under the city, but out of the city. And this one is actually not very far from one of the major drains. So I'm not sure if that's what it referred to, or whether it was other tunnels that ran out to here.
So,
But I think they've been long sealed up. I didn't see any entrance out to any tunnels or drains down here. But wouldn't surprise me if it did once upon a time.
nice.
It's just another staircase that
Stairway here.
runs up.
Ah, yep.
Not in great shape. Wouldn't be taking that one anytime soon.
Yeah, this stairs buggered. That door up there's locked. So this only seems to be a section of the basement. It's certainly not the entire building.
So this is definitely the least interesting part of the least interesting basement, I should say. The other one is much cooler.
Door. Well, actually, I know there's another door to get down into a different section.
But it was cool looking in here. And this one really seems untouched for a lot longer.
Let's go up the stairs and see if we can get over into that area.
The actual entrance to that first basement was behind the second stairway on the bottom floor, which I didn't walk around.
Okay, so this is the other side of the basement.
So yeah, this side basement was actually a topless club. What do you call it? A topless bar,
Other than just
I
storage.
believe. Was apparently one of Adelaide's first topless bars, if I'm correct. I don't know. I read that somewhere.
Sort of browny. Red
No
colour.
idea if that's true, but
A lot of dirt on it though.
could quite be. And yeah, so obviously they serve food and drinks down here. This is in the kitchen. Old ovens still remain.
This is a big stove. Big cooktop, so they must have had a restaurant down here, or maybe this is where, well, it could be a restaurant down here, or maybe this is just where they prepare food. Looks to be quite a
So I couldn't tell you when this strip club or topless bar first opened, or when it closed. Like I said, can't really find much information on it. Seems to be fairly scarce, but I'm going to say it closed in the early 2000s. That'd be a good guess.
Yeah, it looks like
It did actually have a name, and but yeah, I can't remember what it was. I've also seen it being referred to as a live music venue as well. This part we're just looking at in the storage rooms here
Cool room.
of the kitchen.
That's the street just up there.
Yeah, so you could hear people walking around up there, and certainly hear the cars driving around up there.
That's meant to be. Perhaps it was standing up and then got pushed over, or something. Might have been standing up on this platform here.
Yeah, all around this place had that wood panelling, you know, that half wall wood panelling, which I don't know exactly what era that existed. Probably the 60s or 70s, perhaps.
Okay, so that's the door I tried
But
the previous time, and although it looks open, it wouldn't open up all the way. I thought someone
yeah,
was popping it.
it certainly hasn't operated as any sort of business down here for a long time.
To find the other doors, because obviously it was possible to get down here. It's a little bit of a maze down here. Oh, okay. There's more out
So
through
yeah,
there.
it was really I really enjoyed exploring down here. This was definitely made the whole location worthwhile, and I reckon I probably spent nearly probably just in this basement probably would have spent almost an hour down here doing the video and then taking photos as well.
I spotted it the first time I was here. I just completely forgot about it when I was leaving.
Yeah, trying to get some low light photos down here. I've got some that aren't too bad. They're up on my Instagram page, but I didn't have a tripod with me, which was a bit of a nuisance because I really could have done with one here. But I found a plastic crate, and I just end up sitting the camera on that and then taking the photos that way, and that worked.
This must have been original.
It was quite dark down there when you turned the lights off. There was only that those small windows there open up to the street that would let any sort of light through. Obviously power's still on the building. Those exit signs are still lit up.
More rooms back in here.
Now this comes back into the bar, which now you see the pole there, and it all comes together that you realise this was a strip club.
This makes it a bit more interesting.
Yeah. Also, we're a lot of photos taken down here of obviously of that pole and
Gentlemen's Club
and the bar, and also those archways that we just walked through.
We get back there. Oh yeah.
Be interesting if this place if they ever reopen this as a bar. I reckon it'd be pretty cool. I do like myself an underground bar. There's a few of them in Adelaide actually. Yeah, always got a very unique style to it and a very unique feeling when you're sitting below the street level.
Right, okay. Well, that just makes this building about 10 times more interesting. I'm certainly glad I came back.
So yeah, if I remember,
Look at the basements down here.
I shot this is where I finished shooting the video. I do a little bit walking out, but
so now I'm making my way back up out of the basement.
then I spent probably
This
the
building was definitely one of the best explores
I don't know,
done
next half hour
in Adelaide.
at
I
least,
think maybe I
maybe next
spent
hour
an
down here
hour
just taking photos,
alone.
just spending
Hope you all
time
really
down
enjoyed
here.
this video. if you haven't seen part 1, go and check it out.
But,
I'll leave a link in the description.
Yeah.
And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, hit the subscribe. I put out new videos every 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right. So that's
Instagram. I put photos up there
that's
daily,
the end of that.
and they'll generally match.
So yeah, that's a look at the historic boarding house with the dark past. Yeah, it still exists. It's not abandoned, but someone lives there. But I don't know if they've reopened it as accommodation or anything like that. So yeah, one of my top 3 places in Adelaide. Might be number 1. It's very. There's a couple others that are pretty cool, but yeah, I wouldn't mind going back and perhaps doing another explore through there one day, especially that basement. But yeah, maybe eventually we'll see what happens. So yeah, all right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was really good revisiting that. So yeah, I'll see. Might do some more of these in the future. But yeah, for now, I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers.